Who Moved My Cheese? By Dr. Spencer Johnson is a motivational business fable that explores the themes of change, adaptability, and the nature of success. The story is set in a maze and follows 4 characters: 2 mice named Sniff and Scurry, and 2 little people, Hem and Haw, who represent different human attitudes towards change. Every day, the mice and the 2 little people spent time in a maze looking for cheese. The mice possessed simple brains and good instincts, and looked for the cheese they liked, as mice often do. Hem and Haw, however, used their very complex brains, which were filled with many beliefs and emotions, to search for a very different kind of cheese, one that began with a capital C, and that they believed would make them feel happy and successful. As different as the pairs were, they both shared a similarity. Each morning, they raced out into the maze in search of their favourite cheese. The mice used a simple trial and error method. They ran one way. If it was empty, they turned and ran another. The little people also used their ability to learn from past experiences. However, they relied on their brains to look for more sophisticated ways to find the cheese. Sometimes this served them well, but other times their human beliefs and emotions took over and made life in the maze more complicated. After a while, the mice and the little people established a routine. They knew where the cheese was going to be and which route to take to get there. Before long, the little people began to take it for granted. They woke up each day a little slower and started walking to the cheese instead of running. "This is great," Hem said. "There's enough cheese to last us forever." So the little people decided to move right next to the cheese. As time went on, the mice continued their routine, arriving early each morning to nibble on the cheese. One morning, they discovered that there was no cheese. This didn't come as a surprise, as they had noticed the cheese supply getting smaller every day. Instinctively, they knew what they needed to do, so they set off to look for new cheese. The little people awoke, and having not been paying attention to the small changes that had been taking place each day, were unprepared to find that their expected cheese was gone. Cheese was important to them. All they could think to do was to keep looking in the same place, hoping the cheese hadn't really disappeared. Haw looked around and noticed the mice were gone. "Where are Sniff and Scurry?" "Do you think they know something we don't?" Haw asked. Hem scoffed. "What would they know? They're just mice." Haw wanted to search elsewhere for new cheese, but Hem liked it where they were. He was comfortable and thought it was too dangerous anywhere else. This caused the 2 to turn against each other. A few days passed. After getting nowhere and making no progress, Haw decided to go and find new cheese, instead of continuing to search for yesterday's cheese. Hem, overwhelmed by fearful thoughts, stayed behind thinking, what if there is no cheese? What if we can't find it? After several days of only finding nibbles of the cheese, Haw began to reflect. Could he have seen this coming? The cheese getting smaller and older? He wondered if Hem had moved, and quite frankly felt like giving up. He looked down a new route. It was a dark passageway, and fear overcame him. What lay ahead? Could there be danger? But he realised that it was fear itself that was holding him back. So he decided to face his fears and explore this new direction. Once he moved past his fear, Haw remembered how much fun it was to take action. He pictured himself finding all kinds of new cheeses and began to believe that he would. Eventually, just as he hoped, he found new cheese. Not just one kind, but many. Even varieties he had never seen before. Excited, he loaded up and decided to return to Hem to share his discovery. When Haw got back, he offered Hem the new cheese, but it was declined. "I don't think I'll like new cheese, it's not what I'm used to," Hem said. Disappointed, Haw went back out on his own. He missed his friend, but he enjoyed what he was doing now. He was no longer driven by fear, and that gave him strength. On his travels, Haw found odd bits of cheese here and there, which eventually led him to an enormous mountain of cheese, and right in the middle of it were the 2 mice. They greeted each other, and with a toast of cheese, celebrated. Haw thought about going back for Hem to tell him about this discovery, but decided against it. Hem had all the resources to find new cheese, but chose to stay stuck. That night, as Haw lay beside his mountain of cheese, he reflected on a few lessons he'd learned, ones that, had he applied earlier, might have gotten him to this place much sooner. Change happens. Anticipate change. Monitor change. Adapt to change quickly. Enjoy change. Be ready to change quickly and enjoy it.